Does anybody know that? Go ahead, Zachary. 1/5. Okay, 25%. What fraction, Lily? 1/4. How about 33 1/3% or 33.3%? Zachary. 1/3. 50% is, go ahead, Keila.
2/4.
2/4 or 1/2. Let's put it as 1/2. And then how about 66 2/3, Ariana? 2/3. Okay, now the nice thing about most of these fractions, remember yesterday when I said how do you find half of something? You just, what do? How do we find half of something? Divide by 2, right? If the bottom number is 2, we're going to divide by 2. If I want to find 1/4 of something, I divide by 4. If I want to find 1/10 of something, I divide by 10. Okay? So if I ask you to find half of 30, that would be, can you do that? We should be able to do that in our head. Half of 30 is? 15, right? So yeah, sometimes we overthink it, right? And it's actually really easy. Just maybe don't think so hard. Okay, so splitting things in half. If I ask you to find 1/3 of 30, that would be 30 divided by 3. So 1/3 of 30 is, Zachary? 10. That's the same as me asking you to find 33 1/3% of 30. Okay, because that's just 1/3. So we're going to use that thinking today to do some word problems and then some other ones. Okay? So on Sunday, Best Buy had a TV that was normally $600 on sale for 25% off. Okay? The question is, how much money would you save if you bought the TV on sale? So let's start here. What fraction represents 25%? 25% is what fraction, Lily? 1/4. So we need to find 1/4 of 600. Okay, you guys, I need you not to make this hard. Because sometimes, do you guys agree, sometimes we make things hard? Like we overthink it and it becomes hard? Finding 1/4 just means dividing by 4, but there's an easy way to divide by 4 in your head. Does anybody know the quick, easy way to do it in our head? Can't remember if I said it in the solid history. To divide by 4, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. Okay, that makes it really easy to do. What's half of 600? 300. What's half of 300? 150. You just divided by 4. Okay, we should be able to start making those connections in our head. To divide by 4, just cut it in half twice. Okay, so we would save $150 on that TV. How would we find the new cost of the TV? Caleb?
What if you just like subtract 150 from 600?
Yeah. 600 minus 150. Well, 600 minus 100 is 500. Minus another 50. The new TV would be $450. Okay, you saved 25%, which was $150. You would have to pay $450. Questions there? All right, Eric had to share 33 1/3% of his money with his sister Susie. Do you ever have to share money with your siblings? Like split that between you and your brothers and sisters, or okay, not fair, right? You should just give it all to yourself. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd say. Okay, if Eric has $63, how much money will he have to give to Susie? What fraction represents 33 1/3%? What fraction is that? Lily? 1/3. Right? So what is 1/3 of 63? And again, you guys, this is an easy one to do in our head. 63 divided by 3. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into 3 1 time. So it would be $21. So he would have to give his sister $21. Would you give your sister $21? No.
It offers.
You would probably tell her, no, I didn't have $60. I only had 10. Here's your third. You get like $3. Right? And keep the rest for yourself? Yeah. All right. Leo went out to eat with his best friend, Julio. They spent $25 on dinner. They decided to leave a 20% tip. How much was the tip? Okay, what fraction was 20%? 1/5. Okay, so 1/5 is 20%. So I need to find 1/5 of 25. How do we find 1/5 of 25? Lily? Yeah, what's 25 divided by 5? Really? 5. So the tip is $5. What's the total cost of the lunch then? If the tip was $5, how much is the total cost of lunch, Ariana? 30, right? You have to pay for the lunch, $25, plus the $5 tip. The total cost is $30. Okay, how are we feeling about this so far? Question so far. Okay, flip the page to page 6. Okay, I went shopping with my boys on Saturday. Shopping with my boys is never a whole lot of fun. Just saying. They're not good shoppers. One of my kids wanted to buy a shirt that was 40% off the original price. The shirt was originally $20. What is the discount? So what fraction do you think represents 40%? This isn't on our list. But let's think about this. If 20% is 1/5, what do you think 40% is? Zachary?
2/5.
2/5. Yeah. Because 40% is really 20% plus 20%. Does everybody agree with that? And if 20% was 1/5, 1/5 and 1/5 is 2/5. So I want to find 2/5 of 20 to get the discount. Any ideas how I would find 2/5 of 20? How do we find 1/5 of 20? Can I start by finding instead of 2/5, I just want to find 1/5 of 20? What's 1/5 of 20?
No.
How do we find 1/5 of something?
Divide by 5.
Okay, so what's 20 divided by 5? Because 5 times 4 is 20. So 1/5 would be $4. We don't want 1/5, we want 2/5 of 20. If 1/5 is 4, what do you think 2/5 is? 8. Double it. Is $8 what we would pay? Is that how much the shirt costs? No, what is the $8? That is the discount. It's an $8 savings or discount. Okay, that's how much money we got off. So the discount is $8. How much does a shirt cost? How would I figure that out? How would we figure out how much the shirt costs? If I'm going to save $8 and it was originally $20, what do I do? Lily?
20 minus
Yeah, I have to do $20 minus the $8. The shirt is going to cost $12. That's it. If it was 40% off. Okay? Questions there? All right, let's look at these questions. Okay, so we're going to kind of just take this one at a time here. And how do we find 10% of a number? So 10%, you guys remember, is 1/10, right? Okay, so that's just 1/10. And to find 10%, typically we think divide by 10. Would everybody agree with that? What's a quick, easy way to divide by 10? Do you guys know? Okay, so I want you to write this down. The quickest, easiest way to divide by 10 is to move your decimal one place left. I'll show you some examples. Okay? So, easy way to divide by 10 is just to move your decimal. So if I ask you to find 10% of 90, okay, this should be really easy to do in our head because we're just going to take our decimal and move it over 1. It's 9. Okay, because 10% is 1/10, we're just dividing by 10. We move our decimal over 1. Okay? How about this one? What's 10% of 150? Lily? 15. Because we're just going to move your decimal over 1. See how easy that is to do? Okay? What's 10% of 73? Brilliant. 7.3. Because again, we're just moving our decimal over 1. Okay? What's 10% of 189? 18.9. We're just going to move our decimal over 1. Is this making sense to everyone?
Yes.
So finding 10% is really, really, really easy. You're just moving your decimal 1 place. Okay? So then the next question down that list is, if you know 10%, how can you find 30%? Any ideas? If I know what 10% is, any thoughts on how I could get to 30%? How many 10% does it take to make 30%? 3 of them, right? Everybody agree with that? Those of you at home? Okay, it takes 3, so we're just going to multiply by 3. Okay, so if I asked you to find 10% of 90, you guys would tell me that is 9. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay with that? 10% of 90 is 9. So now can you tell me 30% of 90? If 10% is 9, 30% would be, careful, to get from 10 to 30, I had to times by 3. So I have to times by 3, so it is that
27.
27. 9 times 3 is 27. So 30% is 27. Do we see how we got that? Let's try another one. Let's say, tell me what is 10% of 120? It's 10% of 120. Ariana. 12. If 10% is 12, what's 30%? Lily. 36. You guys gotta tell me, does that make sense or no? I can't tell. To get from 10 to 30, you times by 3. 12 times 3 is 36. Should we try another one? Hopefully, this is starting to sink in. Tell me what's 10% of 70. 10% of 70, Lily. 7. If 10% is 7, what's 30% of 70? Tyler. 21. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I didn't ask you 10%? What if I just said, find 30% of 80? If I just started with that, what would you find first? What's that? Look for 10% first. Start with 10%. 10% is, Lily? 8. So 30% is, Ariana? 24. Because 8 times 3 is 24. See how easy this is to do in our head? You didn't even need a calculator for any of that. Amazing! As long as you know your multiplication facts, right? Okay, so maybe you need a calculator sometimes for multiplication facts, but most of this we can just do in our head. Okay, so let's look at the next question down. How do we find a fourth of a number? How do we find 1/4 of something? Caleb?
When did it like what?
Divide by, if I want 1/4,
4.
divide by 4. You got it. Okay? So if I want 1/4, I'm going to divide by 4. So let's say I want 25% of 48. Okay, 25% is just 1/4. So I'm going to divide by 4. It would be 12. 25% of 48 is 12 because we just divided by 4. Okay, what would be 25% of 36? 25% of 36. Tyler. 9. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Okay? Alright, if we know 1/4 of a number, how do you think you find 3/4? If you know 1/4, how would we get to 3/4? How many 1/4 are there in 3/4? 3. So we would just multiply by 3. Okay? So if I know 25% of 48, that means I should be able to easily get to 75% of If 1/4 is 12, what's 3/4? How many 12s do I need to get to 3/4? Really? 3. So 12, 12, and 12 is 36. So 75% of 48 is 36. I just did 12 times 3. Okay, 25% of 36 is 9. What's 75% of 36? This is 3/4. This was 1/4. So I have to multiply it by 3. And 9 times 3? Really? 27. Be my answer. Okay. So far, making sense? Okay. Next here. 1% of a number. If I want to find 1%, okay, I just want you to write this down. To find 1% of a number, you move the decimal 2 places left. Okay, to find 10%, you just move it 1. To find 1%, you move it twice. Okay, so all of these are going to be really easy to do in your head. If I want you to find 1% of 300, move the decimal 2 places. What do you get? 3. You just move the decimal 2 places. Okay? If I want 1% of 15, Brinley. Careful, we have to move it 2 places. Yeah, when we move it 2 places, it's 0.15. Okay, 1% is a very little amount. Okay, how about 1% of 85? 1% of 85, Lily. 0.85. I'm moving the decimal 2 places. Okay, how about 1% of 150? 1% of 150. Caleb.
1.5.
1.5. Move the decimal 2 places. Okay, so if you know 1%, can you tell me 2% of 150? If 1% is 1.5, what's 2%? Exactly. 3. Double it. Right? 1% times 2 is 2%. So 1.5 times 2 is 3. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So the last question here is, if you know 1%, how do you find 6%? What do you think? If you know 1%, can you get to 6%?
You multiply it by 6.
Multiply by 6, absolutely. Okay, so if I asked you then to find 6% of 400. Okay, 6% is a really weird percent. But start with 1%. What is 1% of 400? 4. Right? We're just going to move our decimal 2 places. If 1% is 4, 1 times 6 is 6, so do 4 times 6 is 24. 6% is 24. Okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Where are we at on this right now? Is it making sense to you? And it's okay if you're in the middle. That's okay. Because I know some of this is maybe new thinking for some of us. You're so used to just punching something in a calculator and it making you use your brain to think of it instead. Okay, so let's look at a couple more. Okay, so if I said don't use your calculator on this. Okay, we're just going to do a few of these. 20% of 23. Okay, yes, there's a way to use your calculator, and we're going to learn that next week. Okay, but if I see 20%, what I like to do is 10% plus 10%. Hang on a second. Hello. That's okay. Okay, you bet. Bye. Okay. Everybody agree? 20% is 10% plus 10%? What's 10% of 23? What did we write down? How do we do that? It's 2.3, right? 2.3. We move the decimal 1 place. So if 10% is 2.3, 2.3 plus 2.3 is 4.6. There's our answer. We just found that without using a calculator at all. Okay, let's look at the next one. 75% of 24. Okay, when I see that, 75% is really 25% plus 25% plus 25%. Does everybody agree with that? What's 25% of 24? Or 1/4 of 24? 1/4 of 24 is, Lily? 6. So if 1/4 is 6, and another 4th is 6, and another 4th is 6, all together, 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. There's our answer. Okay. 50% of 92. 50% is just 1/2, right? Can you do half of 92 in your head? Can you do half of 90 in your head? I know, you gotta think now. Half of 90 is 45. Half of 2 is 1. So 45 plus 1 is 46. So 46 plus 46 would be 92. Right? Half of 92 is 46. Okay, 3% of 40. When you're given a really low percent like that, you're going to start with 1%. Because 1% plus 1% plus 1% would be 3%. So what's 1% of 40? Go ahead. 0.4. So 1% is 0.4. 0.4 plus 0.4 plus 0.4. 1.2. Nice job. Okay. 30% of 64. Okay, if I want 30%, I'm going to go back to my 10%. What's 10% of 64? Lily? 6.4. So I need that 3 times. Okay, so then we have to add that up. 6 is 18. The 0.4 is 1.2, so 19.2 when we add that up. Okay, are we feeling okay with this? Kind of? Those of you at home, how are we doing there? Okay, I want you guys to try the next, just do the next 2. So just do these 2. See what you can come up with. Okay, Matthew, you've got it. Nice job on the first one, number 6 there. Krista, you've got them? Okay, so for number 6, you guys should have gotten 105. Okay, 105. Because 150% is 100% plus 50%. Does everybody agree with that? 100% is easy. That's just 70. 50% of 70, half of it is 35. So if you add 70 plus 35, you get 105. Okay, 15% of 60. I'm going to split it up to 10% plus 5%. Would everybody agree that's still 15%? What's 10% of 60? Really? 6. If 10% is 6, what do you think 5% is? Would you agree that 5% is half of 10%? So wouldn't 5% have to be half of 6? 3. Add them together. 6 plus 3 is 9. So 15% of 60 is 9. Okay? So we're going to stop at that. What you guys have to do for your homework then is to go onto Canvas.